like how I put that?
Yeah, might as well, you all pull up a chair then, or sit on the mat.
All right, team, good luck.
Might sit on, I'm not sure I can get there. Well, after John's exercise, you will
need a
be
chair.
able to.
You need a chair.
How long have you been talking? About 30 minutes.
Okay, so is everybody, y'all can hear me okay, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right, well, this is the first new year with all of you. So happy new year to everybody there. Again, I am John Parrish, Beyond Human Fitness, coach, personal trainer, mentor, whatever you want to call me. Okay, and what we're here to talk about today, you know, this first education session is just going to be an overview of what we're going to be discussing over the next 12 months. Okay, so we're going to keep everybody accountable and make sure that we are following the right path and the right track. So, you know, most people make yearly resolutions, but, you know, how many people really keep it after the first 2 weeks of the first month? And most people do not. So what we're going to discuss is when people talk about, okay, my New Year's resolution is to lose weight. Okay, it's to get healthier. Well, you have to narrow it down and you have to define it. What do you mean? Okay, lose weight. How much? You know, what is your metrics? How are you going to measure it? If you want to get healthier, what are your metrics? What are we trying to do? Bring the the A1C levels down, try to eradicate diabetes altogether, get your hypertension, high blood pressure under control. You got to be very specific in your goals when you're planning any type of what they call a resolution. I don't call it a resolution, I call it goal planning. So that's basically what we're going to kind of go over right now. We're going to like set goals for the year. Okay, we're not going to do it for like 30 days, 90 days, or 6 months. It's going to be for the whole year. So, and how we're going to do that, we're going to eventually, within the next 2 weeks, Roxanne and Melissa hopefully can get everybody's measurements and their weight, height, and everything, so we can get a body fat analysis to see where you are. Because if we don't know where you are, we don't know where we're going. And each one of you are different ages, different genders, different physical conditions, the whole 9 yards. So that's going to be one of the first key elements of setting the goal. I know everybody wants to lose weight, you know, but we need to know how much weight we're going to lose. In our last 90 days, when we first did this and introduced it, I gave everybody an assessment, and we kind of narrowed it down of what you should lose, what you should eat, you know, and of course we got derailed by COVID again and the governor down there. So, but now hopefully we got Zoom, everybody can get on Zoom. Then I can also be there on certain days of, you know, when we are training, and I'm always available on Facebook, or, you know, people can hit me on Messenger. But getting back to our goals, what we're going to take, you know, we're not going to focus on, again, the scale. Okay, we're going to do it by body fat percentage. Okay, that's going to let you know how much muscle you have, how much body fat you have, but it also will let you know when you're putting on clothes, how do they feel? Okay, how do you move? How do you feel? That's what that's your gauge as an indicator. The scale is your enemy. Okay, it is your enemy because people like to step on the scale every day. Okay, at different times of the day, and that's not what it's for. Basically, for health professionals, it's just to gauge where you are. It's like a baseline. Okay, but for the average individual, you do not need to worry about the number on the scale, because if you gain muscle and you're losing fat, okay, that scale can go up because muscle weighs more than fat. Okay, if you weigh first thing in the morning, you are lighter than you are later in the day. Okay, because of gravity and you eaten a few times, you're fluctuating with water. So that's why another reason you don't use a scale. The third reason is when people go on weight loss diets and everything, first 2 weeks, they lose all this weight and then they hit a plateau of some sort. Well, the weight that you lost was water. That's the first thing that happens when you change your eating style. So just keep that in mind. The scale is your enemy. I will have you weigh only once a month. That's it. So all we need to weigh. Yeah, because once we get the body fat percentage, it gives me a breakdown of where we're at. The most important rule to this is you must follow a healthy eating pattern. So no matter what it is, I mean, you're not going to be on a diet. Okay, we're just going to change the way you eat, how you perceive food. Okay, water. I can't express that enough. That is the main focus for the entire month of January. Drink lots of water. Okay, if you feel that you're thirsty, it is already too late. You're dehydrated. So constantly drink water. All right, very important. Everything in your body functions off water. So if you don't have at least, for women, at least 9 to 13 8-ounce cups a day, then you're way under par. For men, it's about 15 to 16. And that includes if you have coffee, if you have tea, okay, even in your smoothie shakes, that has liquid and water in it too. So that includes all of that as well. So always remember that. Drink lots of fluids, water, okay? There's coffee. I know somebody will probably ask about coffee. We're going to dispel the myth right now. It is not a diuretic, okay? It doesn't really make you pee like people think it does, all right? It's just a chemical in it that just excites your bladder and gives you the urge to go to the bathroom. But it is not a diuretic, all right? Caffeine is not bad for you unless, you have 2,000 milligrams a day or something ridiculous. All right, so the whole month, January, water, replacing the fluids. You drink water, you get rid of water. You pee, you drink more water. Whenever you go to a restaurant, you go eat, always have water. If you sit at a desk, have water. That's the best way to do it. In your car, since it's kind of cold outside, use it like a refrigerator. Leave a bottle of water on your passenger seat or in the cup holder. Okay? At least you'll always have it. Are there any questions before we move on? Yay? Nay?
How about artificial sweeteners, John? Like, you know how you're saying water, and a lot of waters now have like artificial sweeteners in them. Is that okay?
Well, it depends on which artificial sweeteners you're talking about, because some of them, like stevia, is 5,000 times more sweeter than sugar. Okay, I mean, I just prefer people to drink plain water. Now you can drink the carbonated waters, certain flavored waters, but be careful because I don't know every brand out there and what they got in it. Okay, I just prefer just clean water. There's nothing wrong with it, and people say, well, it doesn't taste good. I said, it's water. What did you think it was going to taste like? Okay, what did you think it was going to taste like? It's water. Okay. So, I mean, if you really want to spice it up, yeah, you can add like lemon to it or lime. They have like an energy additive that gives it flavor called Mio. That is okay to use, you squirt it in the water. But, when they say like the Vita water that, with flavors in them, or Propel with flavor water, you got to understand that has like 3 grams per bottle of water, and it's in the form of sugar. Okay, and we are trying to keep our sugar levels at a very constant level. So water helps you with that. Okay, so don't get fooled in the store like, oh yes, it's water and it's yellow and orange and green and purple. Yeah, well, it's probably full of sugar of some sort.
So we have one Propel a day, that would be fine though, right?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, you can, yeah, it's in moderation. I mean, but see, if we're talking about you're going to drink 9, 8 ounce cups of water a day, almost, it's close to a gallon. Well, you don't want, 9 Propels a day. Okay.
No, I think we're talking about like one a day.
Yeah, maybe one a day. That's not going to hurt you. But just
I
remember.
mix it with water. I drink a Propel, and then I add a bottle of water to like a water bottle. So I kind of do half and half a day.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, but I mean, I just don't remember. It's in moderation. I just don't want people to get carried away thinking that, okay, flavored water is water. I mean, it is water, but it's also, you got sugar in it, and in order to lose a certain amount of weight, we don't want simple sugars in foods, because if you're diabetic, it will spike your insulin levels. That's what we're trying to avoid. So we want to be as healthy as possible. Plus the body prefers to just have pure water, because even though in Propel, the body actually has to strip away the flavor and the sugar and put it somewhere else while it extracts the water. So always remember that. Even with coffee, it has to do something with the caffeine in coffee before it can get to the water part. Any other questions before we move on?
No, thank you. That's good information.
All right. Now, in the months of February, we're going to be talking about proteins, carbohydrates in March. April, we're going to be talking about dairy and fats. May, we'll be dealing with everybody's sinful food, the treats. Okay. Now, although we have these broken down into months, like June is time for exercise, and July we'll be talking a lot about weight training and everything. We will be, every seminar, we will still be talking about those same things, just not in depth. Okay, like the month of January, you'll be able to go to the, hopefully to the web page or to the Facebook page. Hopefully I'm gonna try to set up for you guys, and it'll be information on just, liquids, orange juices. I believe, Roxanne, you have those little magnets that you guys gave me at the beginning that breaks down what the juices are, Coca-Cola is, the sodas, and what water is. That'll be something good to put on your refrigerator, so you'll know, okay, well, you reach in the refrigerator, do I want the juice or do I want water? Now, I'm gonna tell you something right now about juices. 99% of them are almost pure sugar. Okay, unless you went to the store, got your own oranges, and you squeezed them yourself. So all those little cranberries and ocean spray and whatever the name, those are basically sugar water, but a lot of sugar. So if they say juice concentrate, look at it very carefully when you spin the bottle around. You will see it's full of sugar. So don't get fooled. Okay? And in August, we're going to be talking about a lot of exercise tips. Of course, you'll be getting a lot of those anyway. We'll be focusing in September on you. It'll be a big follow-up on all of you. How are you doing? How are you feeling? But at any time during this 12 months that you feel that you're not getting something out of this, or you want more knowledge, always reach out. Ask the question. The only dumb question is the one that you never ask. So ask the question. I mean, and when people go on YouTube, be very careful if you look up something. I would prefer you to go to like WebMD or healthline.com, and then it can break down whatever you're trying to find, related to nutrition. Do not rely on newspapers, magazines, or the media. They're just trying to sell you something. Okay, always remember that. Okay, and then when we roll into our October, I can't stress this enough: sleep and stress reduction. Okay, sleep is a big component. You must rest, Roxanne. Just rest. You can't be a workaholic all the time. Okay? Because believe it or not, if you don't get enough sleep, it will wear on your body, not just your mind, but your body. So remember that. And in November, we'll be doing tweaks and trying to figure out, what we need to readjust. But we're, like I said, during the 12 months, we'll be doing this on a periodic basis anyway. But these months that I'm talking about, that will be a big focus of that month. All right? Any more questions?
John, when you were talking about like juice, so like how Tony's has fresh squeezed juice and you see them squeezing it, is that a preferable juice when you see them actually squeezing the oranges?
Yeah, because it's coming straight from the orange.
Yeah.
Okay, when they do it in a factory or company, the way it's done is after they peel the thing, they send it through a machine and then they have it mixed in with some water and other additives to, one, to make it last longer on the shelf. Okay, they add salts to it and they sodium bicarbonate, then they add extra sugars to it, to kind of sweeten it up for you so you kind of can get addicted to it, because sugar addiction is a real thing. Okay, very real. So you got to understand that everything in this country that they make in food either has too much sodium or too much sugar to keep you addicted. So that's, yes?
Just a question on fruits. Are all berries, or is it just certain berries have low sugar? Like, which berries are the best ones for you? I was told like blackberries are okay to eat. Like, I like to make smoothies, but someone told me to stop putting strawberries in my smoothie because those have a lot of sugar in them.
No, depends on when they're in season. If they're fresh, okay, if all of these fruit berries are fresh, then no, you don't have a problem with it. But the way you should make a smoothie is 90% vegetables, and you only use the fruit as a sweetener. That's how you're really supposed to make a smoothie. So it's like spinach and kale, celery, add a little water to it, throw in maybe a quarter cup of either blackberries, blueberries, okay, sweeten up the dill, throw a kiwi in there, and some protein powder or almond milk, depends on what you like, and that is your smoothie. That's kind of how you're supposed to make them. Okay, they're 90% vegetable, and the rest, the fruit is only used as a sweetener. But what berries is, the beautiful thing is they have resveratrol, which is an natural antioxidant. So berries are good for you. You just can't eat like a pound or two of them. Okay, you got to remember, it's all in moderation. So there's nothing wrong with, there's no such thing as what berry is sweeter and which one is, bitter. It depends on if they're in season or not. I like blueberries, but most of the blueberries, they're not really sweet, but because the resveratrol they have in them is very high in antioxidants, where blackberries tend to be sweeter, but they have the same amount of resveratrol. Okay, so you just don't use as much blackberries as you do blueberries. Strawberries, it's a hit or miss whether they're going to be sweet or not, because most of the time when we eat them, they're not really in season. Okay, and it depends on who grew them and where they got them from. And no, chocolate covered strawberries is not an alternative. That's only on Valentine's Day.
You're just going to ruin Valentine's Day.
It's only on Valentine's Day that you should do that.
What about frozen berries?
Frozen berries, unless the bag specifically says that they are fresh but flash frozen, 9 times out of 10 they're full of sugar. Very, very sweet. That's what most restaurants use whenever they put those toppings on your pancakes or something like that. They go in the freezer, they kind of let them thaw out in the morning, and then you know, you order pancakes or strawberry shortcake and they throw it on the top. Okay.
Even if it states unsweetened, because they're bags that come unsweetened.
Huh?
Even if the berry bag states unsweetened,
If it says unsweetened, you still got to look at it and say, okay, is it a natural source? I mean, because berries do have their own little sugar in there. It's called fructose. So they have their own sugar by nature. So if you basically have to turn it around, look at that label, and look at the first few ingredients in the label. Okay, if anything says corn syrup or sucralose or sugar alcohol, that means they added something to it. And it's a lot of buzzwords, you know, the industry uses, like unsweetened. Well, exactly what does unsweetened mean? I mean, what did it taste like before it was sweet? So, you know, unsweetened almond milk. I'm like, well, what was it before? You know? So you know, and that's a hard question to ask because I don't know. I'm like, I've had them, you know, so-called vanilla flavor or whatever it is, or chocolate, you know, almond milk, and then you have an unsweetened one, and I'm like, well, I can't tell the difference. You know, but again, it's going to come down to your preference and the portion control. So remember, we're not going to be taking, you know, a quarter bag of cherries and putting them inside of a blender and calling that a smoothie. You know, all it takes is about 1/8 of a cup to a quarter cup, and that's it. And the rest will be the vegetables. Anything else? Oh, come on. I know we got some questions over there. And we got Kyle Bean on the line, and he is muted.
Louis wants to know how much meat he can eat in a day.
Meat? Well, it's not about how much meat, it's how much protein. You know, that's, you know, what you're trying to do. I mean, the average, see what Louis weighs, 200 something, so his average meal, I mean, you eat protein almost every meal, so if you were to eat meat at every meal, you'll probably talk about 4 to 6 ounces every meal. You know, it depends on which kind of meat you're talking about. If you're talking about a steak, I would limit a steak to a beef, basically maybe once a day, and mix it with chicken, turkey, or fish. You know, you don't want to eat beef all day long, and you probably don't like chicken all day long. You know?
You just burst Lewis's bubble.
Huh?
You just burst Lewis's bubble.
Well, yeah, I mean, we're carnivores, but not carnivores. You
In the
know?
morning, you have sausage, pork sausage.
No. You'll have to change that if we're trying to get your diet and trying to lose weight. I mean,
You can have turkey bacon. You can have turkey bacon.
yes, turkey bacon. You know, put it in the air fryer so you don't eat the grease. You know? You can have regular bacon, but be careful of pork sausages because, I mean, they're full of fat.
Delicious. Yes.
Yeah, they are delicious, but they're full of fat nitrates. So you have to, you know, if you're gonna, I mean, it's easy to eat for me, like say 6 or 7 sausages. Okay. And you know, and that's just for me. And I'm like, well, you know, and then you do that like every day for like breakfast. And then all of a sudden your waistline is another 3 inches and you're wondering why, even if you're working out. You know, it's a lot of grease and a lot of nitrates. You know, I mean, they're good every now and then, but remember, it's all about portion control. You know, if 2 is, you know, 2 I think is the average serving for most people. And if you put 2 sausages on my plate, I'm gonna look at you like you're crazy. Okay? Because I said that's not even gonna do a dent. So, you know, you have to look at it in that context. You know, try, you know, turkey bacon, try, you know, peanut butter and oatmeal, you know, get a protein smoothie. I mean, what I'm gonna try to, over the 12 months, I'm gonna try to get everybody to understand that food is fuel first and foremost. Okay, then we add in the flavor. But you gotta understand, it is fuel. Carbohydrates are your friend. Fats are your friend. Okay, the ones from olive oil, the ones from avocado oil, those are your friends. Protein for women is your friend. They're not your enemy. It's just how much of it that you eat. Chips are not your friend. Most dips are not your friend. Okay, the little weenie stuck in a croissant is not your friend. Okay, okay. You know, you smother your food with gravy. That is not your friend, except for at Thanksgiving, okay, or Christmas. You know, you have to do a lot of those things very sparingly if we're going to reach our goals. All right, that is the whole key. If you would, I mean, that doesn't mean that you can never, ever, ever eat it. No, I'm not going to say that. You know, I got a box of Bob Evans sausage in my freezer right now. Okay, been there for a couple of weeks, but you know, I said, well, but whenever I do eat them, I know I'm gonna eat like about 8 at one time. So then I'm gonna say, well, that's enough for this week. You know, so I mean, but my goals are different than your goals. Okay, my goals won't shift until the end of February, and when they do shift, then everything gets really strict. You know, so everything is going to be, I'm going to teach you about portion control, how to properly, we went over it for a lot of you in the last session about how to read a label, okay, because they've changed the labels and now you can see calories, fat, everything right there on the can, how many sugars, whether they're added sugars. Because if you get a bottle of juice, that label should say, okay, yes, it has sugar, and then you look right below it and say added sugars. Okay, and then if it's in grams, you say, oh, sugar in grams. That is 4 times whatever that number is. That's how many calories is in 1 cup or 1 serving. But over the period of 12 months, I'll be teaching you that. Like I said, I'm gonna try to set up a group for everybody on Facebook so we can all get into it and share ideas, thoughts, message each other, and be a big support system, because it is a group effort. Not only the group that's sitting there and the ones that are online, but also your family unit. You know, if you're trying to be healthy, they should applaud you to being healthy, and they should want to do it too. Okay, that's kind of how that works. So, and if you have little children, the parents lead by example, not the children leading the parents. You know, little Johnny says he wants, you know, some caramel popcorn, and mommy says no, and then she caves in and buys him a bag. And then on the way home, everybody's eating it. And no, we don't want that. You know, our society, I think, what is it? 68% of adults are obese, and now the kids are approaching 70%. Wow, that is not a good thing. You know, they already dumbed us down in education. We don't need them to dumb us down in our body. So, any other questions?
No, I don't think so. I think the Facebook group is a great idea, John. Because we can put up recipes and stuff too. If someone finds something that.
Oh yeah, you know, and then it'd be a lot of informative information on there, you know, about, you know, food, recipes, you know, what things do. You'll have, I'll be putting links on there so you can download different articles about whatever it is that you want to read about food, or how to do certain exercises the absolute correct way, you know. So that is, you know, how that is designed. Yeah, so, and, you know, Facebook, hopefully everybody, I'm sure everybody has a smartphone. Okay, so if you have a smartphone, and I know it came with a Facebook app. So, okay. So you don't have, some people get up and tell me, oh, I don't like Facebook. I said, well, no one says you have to sit there and chit chat with the entire planet. Okay? It's just another means of communication if you use it in that regard, and you'll be amazed. Now, some people get on there and get carried away and want to share everything and about their lives and all kind of stuff. And I say, that's not a good idea. Yeah, and you don't friend everybody out there, even if they get friends with your other friends. People don't know everybody like that. But we're going to use it for the community that we're talking about right now, you all, okay, to share and exchange information and ideas. That's what we're going to use it for. All right, any questions? All right, you said everybody had those bands.
We have,
Which ones?
we have these bands. And we have these bands. Can you see these two? And then we have,
All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to switch cameras over. I have to log out and I'm going to switch cameras over to my main TV so we can look at the bands and demonstrate how you're supposed to use those. And then we'll get a nice little workout in. What do you say?
I'm good, John.
All right, so everybody, we're going to end this. So we're going to end the meeting for all. Log back on in 5 minutes, okay? Log back on in 5 minutes.